It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
With just over 3 weeks remaining in the regular season, one team is looking to remain in line to capture the top spot in the Western Conference 4A. The other simply looking for a lifeline to remain in contention to make a postseason appearance. That's the storyline for tonight's game between the Monroe Bearcats and the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. High school basketball live on KRKO 1380 and FM 95.3, streaming on KRKO.com, is presented tonight by Allstate Insurance agent Brian Reed, by the Ace Hardware stores in Lake Stevens, Everett, and Stanwood, by the Snohomish County PUD, Glass by Lund, the Buzz Inn Steakhouse, the law office of Russell and Hill, and by Screen Printing Northwest. We come to you live from the Glacier Peak High School Gymnasium for this Wesco 4A game. Hello, everybody, with Joel Boyer and Alex Clausius. I'm Tom Lafferty. And a quirk in the Western Hockey League schedule, the Everett Silvertips had a couple of Friday nights off this month, which has allowed us to bring you a couple of pretty good matchups. 2 weeks ago, it was the Coaches versus Cancer game in Arlington, and tonight we're here at Glacier Peak. For the home team Grizzlies, life, well, probably doesn't get much better than this. The Grizzlies come into this game with a 7-0 league record and are 13-0 overall, and it's not like GP hasn't been tested, beating a team from De La Salle, Oregon, beating Kings, and defeating Linden Christian. Those are all quality opponents. Therefore, the Grizz are ranked number 2 in the latest state RPI standings, about 0.3% behind number 1 Union, which, according to reports from our correspondent in Clark County, aren't in danger of losing anytime soon. And here's the thing about Brian Hunter's team. There aren't any standout superstars on the team. We'll talk about that with Joel as we count down to tip-off, and we'll hear from the coach in just a little bit. Like most media types, we feel compelled to ask if Glacier Peak could be looking past Monroe with a Monday night date with Mariner on the horizon. Probably not, but, you know, we got to ask. So the Monroe Bearcats, as we mentioned, are looking to stay alive in the hopes of making the postseason, something they didn't do a year ago. First-year head coach Justin Prone is a team full of outstanding athletes, but the question will be, can he round them into basketball players and a basketball team here in the next couple of weeks? The Bearcats are 2-6 in league play, 6-8 overall, so with 6 games remaining, they're trying to solidify a hold on that 6th and final playoff spot in the West King District Tournament. With Cascade out of the running, it looks like it'll be Monroe and Lake Stevens duking it out for that last playoff spot after the end of the Kansas State game the other night. Maybe I shouldn't use the phrase duking it out, maybe too soon. At the end, thanks, Joel. At the end of our game tonight, we'll name the Allstate Insurance Good Hands Player of the Game, presented by Allstate Insurance agent Brian Reed. Alex will talk with him on the floor, and we'll receive a long-sleeve T-shirt from Screen Printing Northwest. We'll also need to fire up the Anders 3 computer for our first edition of If the Playoffs Started Tonight. We'll look at the Wesco 4A and 3A leagues, and if time allows at halftime, we'll look at how the girls' side of the Western Conference is doing. When we come back, Alex Clausius steps into the coach's corner with Brian Hunter of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies and Justin Prone of the Monroe Bearcats, and Actually, truth be told, he won't really go into the corner. Alex will be here on the court. The Westco Tonight pregame show on a Friday night in Cathcart continues right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3. Everett's greatest hits, sports, and more.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
The Monroe Bearcats and the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Let's go down to the floor. And Alex Klossis is with Brian Hunter, head coach of the Grizzlies. AC.
Thanks, Tom. Here I'm with Coach Hunter. Coach, we get a media stat pack every day before we do a game like this. Two things really stand out for your guys. One, really obvious. One, not so obvious. I'm going to start with the not so obvious one. Defensively, allowing little less than 41 points per game. What's been really clicking for you guys on defense so far?
I think we play together, which on defense for us, 5 guys need to be bought in at the same time. We rebound the ball pretty well. We limit them to tough shots, but the kids play hard.
One of the more obvious things, one of the best starts in recent memory for Glacier Peak. What's maybe different about this year's team than in ones in years past?
I think there's some similarities to teams in the past, obviously, but, we share the ball pretty well. We have a lot of guys that can handle the ball. We're harder to guard, probably, than last year. We've had 6 different leading scorers in 13 games, which is, that's a nice thing to have as a coach. But I think we share the ball well, we shoot the ball well, and the kids like playing together.
Awesome. One last thing, Monroe, what they really show you on tape when you were looking for scouting for this game?
Well, they're talented. Their record doesn't indicate their talent level. I think Olsen would start on every team in the league. Chisholm's as good an athlete as we have in the league. Jimmy shot the ball well all year. I think the coach has been doing a great job with them this year. Jeremy's done a really nice job. I think if you look at their record, it's not indicative of what kind of a team they are. They are a talented team, and we expect them to be tough tonight.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the time today, Coach.
Thank you very much, Alex, with head coach Brian Hunter of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. As we mentioned, Glacier Peak 7-0 in league play, 13-0 overall, and the number 2 ranking in the state RPI. We'll be hearing from Justin Prone, the head coach of the Monroe Bearcats, here in just a moment, as Alex will be down on the floor to grab the coach. And we will tell you what else is going on in the Western Conference 4A tonight. Mariner is playing at Cascade. Kamiak is at Jackson. Lake Stevens is playing at Mount Vernon. And, of course, our game, Monroe at Glacier Peak. Then on the boys Wesco 3A tonight. Edmonds Woodway at Meadowdale. We'll be getting reports on that game. That's underway as Meadowdale's gotten out to a 7-0 run to start the fourth quarter, and they lead 51-46 with 5:30 to go. So Meadowdale leading Edmonds Woodway in the boys game. That's a doubleheader, boys-girls doubleheader down at Meadowdale High School. So that's what's going on tonight. And now we're going to go down to the floor again, and Justin Prone is here with AC. Go, Alex.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, first year as Monroe's head coach, heart of Wesco play currently right now. How's the ride been for you so far?
It's been good. Our guys, our record's not what we want it to be, obviously, but our guys are competing every day, and we're still getting better, and hopefully in a couple weeks we're playing our best basketball by then, and we'll see what it's been. But Wesco's exceptionally tough this year, so it's been a challenge.
What's a key for you guys tonight? Of course, Glacier Peak, undefeated, great record. What do you guys need to do great today?
Yeah, it's a tough challenge. They're super talented, deep, can do everything. I think for us, we just got to worry about our stuff, and if we can execute our game plan and take care of the basketball, that'll be a really big part for us tonight.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the time today, Coach.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Thank you much, Alex. With both head coaches tonight, Brian Hunter just before the game, and with Justin Prone of the Monroe Bearcats. Finishing up the schedule tonight in the boys Wesco 3A, Edmonds Woodway at Meadowdale, Montlake Terrace at Linwood, Marysville Getchell's playing at Everett tonight, Marysville Pilchuck is at Oak Harbor, Stanwood at Snohomish, and Cedar Crest is playing at Archbishop Murphy. We'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll talk with Joel. We'll get set up for tonight's opening tip-off and game action. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies, the Monroe Bearcats, as we continue live right here on KRKOA and 1380 and FM 95.3. Tom Lafferty along with Joel Boyer, Alex Clausius. We've heard from all of the head coaches. We'll have the starters coming up here in just a little bit. Joel, let's talk about this game. Let's go back to what Brian Hunter said for Glacier Peak. And when Alex asked him about the defense and how good a defense they play, because they play together. And
absolutely.
You almost have to play together on defense better than you do playing together on offense.
True, absolutely. I mean, on offense, if you have one person kind of ad-lib a little bit, but they see an opening, they can take their man to the basket, there's a crack in the defense, absolutely. You can ad-lib and be okay on the offensive side, but when you go to the defensive side, there's no room for an individual not doing what the team's asking them to do, to not be in their position. You honestly be 2 feet outside of your position in the zone. 2 feet's a pretty nice sized window to get a ball through for a lay-in. You know, you're just one step too high on maybe a man-to-man, a backdoor cut can burn you. So being in sync together, and he mentioned having players that really like to be together and spend time together, and they really enjoy each other, I think is his word. That just it shows such great dividends on the defensive end, especially.
Well, when I got here setting up the gear this afternoon, I was talking to Brian Hunter's longtime assistant, Todd Tipke, who they've been friends since elementary school.
Absolutely.
And I said, what's the difference with this team? He goes, they like each other.
Sure.
And he said, we have basketball players, not just big guys.
Absolutely. And it's amazing. The first part's the part key. And I think a lot of people say, well, when you got basketball players, you can be great. Well, of course, you know. Glacier Peak's done pretty well having, quote-unquote, the big guys. And, you know, some of those football guys that are really not basketball, but they're very athletic and come out here and they can fake it pretty well.
Right.
But when you have guys that really enjoy, there's a camaraderie, there's a togetherness, and we were even just talking before the broadcast about when you're coaching and you have players that really enjoy each other, and you really enjoy those players, it's amazing how much more excited you are at practice as a coach. It's how much more passionate you are. You'll always put in the time, the game planning, the watching film, but when it comes to the players you enjoy, you're going to put a little extra into it.
I'm saying it maybe on Monday night, I'll watch one more tape.
Absolutely.
I'll watch one more game.
Absolutely. And it's just so, and when you go and I've coached girls basketball a ton, coached some boys back when I first came out of college, and it's amazing when you have those teams and they come in like, Coach, we're so excited because we know you get us ready for a game. And you're like, why wouldn't I watch more film for those kind of players and those kids that just really appreciate you and are willing to really give so much? When they enjoy each other and you enjoy them, it can get really special. And you're seeing that, and I think in Glacier Peak's ranking as well as their record.
Well, and one more thing about Glacier Peak, and Coach Hunter mentioned it as well to AC, 6 different leading scorers.
It's incredible.
That's a luxury.
In 13 games, every other game you're having a different leading score. That's insane. I mean, and you look at, you just in our stat pack here, you got 5, the top 5 leading scorers for them, and you got 1 at 15, 1 at 13, 1 at 12, 1 at 11, 1 at 7. You got a lot of players, and there's somebody who's lower than that who led the team in scoring, who's averaging 6-7 points, but has the ability to go and score 12, 14, 16, 18 in a night. When you can go that deep, that's unbelievable.
Now let's switch over and talk about Justin Prone and the Monroe Bearcats. As Coach Hunter said it, and their record doesn't indicate the type of athletes they have on the floor.
Absolutely. I mean, when you hear Coach Brian Hunter, who's coached his 12th year here at GP, he has been here. He's done that. He was at Stanwood for years before. He knows the West Coast Conference basketball as well as anybody on the guys' side. And when he says they're as good at athletes, I mean, Sam Olsen will start for anybody in the league. You take that to heart. I mean, that's someone who's been around this league for forever, and he's talking about how athletic they are and just the type of talent they have. And you think anytime you get a brand new first-year coach, there's always a tweak in culture, a change in your offense, even sometimes dramatic changes in what you're trying to run. So it's hard for the players a lot of times to first kind of roll over into something new and get used to that. So it takes an adjustment period. A lot of times you kind of want to say, look at me at year 3. We'll see how judge me on that third year, not on the first and second year per se.
And Alex Clausius, when you were talking with Coach Prone and Coach Hunter, said the same thing. One of your favorite guys, EC3, one of the finest athletes in the entire Western Conference.
It's one of the crazier things I always think about is how quickly some of these guys can transition from football to basketball. Sure, they maybe have the shape for it, and it's just a little bit different because it's a 100-yard field and it's a basketball court. It's definitely a difference when it comes down to that. But just you can see the natural athleticism and warm-ups when he does layups and everything. I mean, he's going to Eastern to play football, but I guarantee you if he really put his time and effort into basketball, he already is a really good basketball player. He'd probably be even a little bit better. But when you have that sort of athlete, you can throw him on defense and he can almost guard anybody, and you can put him on offense. And a lot of time, athleticism at this level can win.
And I'm going to ask you both. Joel, I'll ask you first. Here's what's coming up Monday. Glacier Peak, Mariner. Glacier Peak 13-0, Mariner 12-1. Glacier Peak number 2 in the RPI, Mariner number 7. That's as good a game as you'll get all season long.
I would hate to be out of the state to not get to see that game on Monday, but Alex Colossus unfortunately will be out of the state.
Yep, I'll be out of state. I'll be tuned in somewhere.
What a fantastic matchup! I mean, and the sadness to me is it's on a Monday night.
Right.
It's like that's not a game night.
I think it's a snow makeup.
And I believe you're right on that,
right.
Which is that thing. But and I'll say this: I know the Snohomish School District doesn't have school that day, and so it's that day between the semesters. And I'm not sure. I think Mariner might be on the same schedule. And I'll tell you what: those days when you don't have school, a lot of time over Christmas break, you have that. It's always a little different. You always tell your kids, don't oversleep in, don't take a 3-hour nap. No, just do the same thing you always do for a normal game. But I don't foresee this being kind of an overlooked game for Glacier Peak. I know there's that possibility. But Brian Hunter can get his guys ready to go and ready to play, and I'm sure they're going to be fired up for this Friday night matchup.
Well, and Alex, I said it in my open before we got underway here. Justin Prone is going to eventually mold this team. You don't want to be on the other side when suddenly, like, wait a minute, coach, we get it.
Exactly. Once it all just needs to click. It all just doesn't happen overnight. Coach Perone is going to do a great job over here. Nice guy when I was talking to him down there. He's going to have his job, but also needs to implement his systems, his plays to really kind of capitalize on what he wants to do. And one quick thing about Mariner and Glacier Peak, what I really like about that matchup is the amount of depth for both teams. Both those guys can go 8 or 9 deep, and I love depth because in high school, a lot of times your best 5 or 6 guys play. When you can come out with a 7, 8, and 9 who can maybe score, get some rebounds, that's what really sets you apart when you're down in Tacoma.
Well, and a man after your own heart there, Joel.
Absolutely.
Our favorite player the last couple of years was Nate Coomer of the Stanwood Spartans. He was a 6th, 7th guy.
Well, the first year before he was a starter, he was that 7th man and came in and had huge games for the Spartans down there. And I mean, I can tell you, tournament after tournament. Now it's changed to a 3/4 day tournament, but within that 4 days, you're going to have a 9th or 10th player at some point give you big minutes. Meaning someone's going to be in foul trouble, someone's going to roll an ankle, someone's going to have a little flu, something's going to happen that you're going to need to rely on that player that is your 10th player, but they're going to have to come in and give you 2, 3, 4 minutes just to spell somebody a couple times in the game. And when you have a player that's done that, but they've actually played in a couple games or a big game, or they, like Alex was saying, if that player can have played in the Mariner game, well, that was a big game and from a big crowd, a packed gym. The state, it's state. It's a little bigger. We're not going to say it's not, but they're familiar. They're okay with that, and then team's okay with that. And so if you have the ability to get that done during the season, just in regular games and regular matchups and maybe even some bigger games, it will pay huge dividends, just like Alex was saying down at the Woodshed.
So Glacier Peak and Mariner number 1 and 2 in the Wesco 4A. Jackson at number 3 at 5 and 2. Kamiak at 4 and 4 at number 4. Mount Vernon at 3 and 4, Monroe and Lake Stevens both at 2 and 6. So really, Alex, Mount Vernon, Monroe, Lake Stevens, 3 teams playing for the last 2 spots into the. Somebody's going to stay home.
Someone's got to stay home, and at this level, you just want to make one of those 2 spots. I mean, anyone wants to continue playing, but I think at this point of the season, this is your last you have about 4 to 5 games left. You got to go 4-1 or 5-0 and trying to put up some competitive matchups. But I've liked Mount Vernon all year. I think they could really get hot at the right time. They have a lot of underclassmen that have played a lot, and you never really know with them. Lake Stevens, they are kind of hit or miss, but they do have some good senior play. And then Monroe, we're going to see here tonight. I have not seen them play so far, so I'm intrigued to see what I'm going to see, because also with high school basketball, if you're the 1 seed or the 6 seed, it's a lot different than the NBA or college and stuff. A high school team could get hot at one night and ride a heater all the way to the championship. You never really know with the kids at this age.
Well, and Joel, we've said it for years. Your number 1 goal when you start practice in November, we want to play 21 games. 22, 23, 24, 25,
yes.
27.
Yeah.
That's all bonus.
Yep.
You got to play. You got to get in. You got to get
Right.
an invitation to the dance.
Yep. You want to be playing more than your 20 games allotted.
Right.
And as long as you can be guaranteed at least 1 more game, you're getting better. And you're able to practice. And honestly, for a team like Monroe and Justin's first year, you want to get an extra week of practice, an extra game, an extra week, an extra just time spent together that other programs aren't allowed to have. Once you lose, you're done, and you don't get to meet together again until June. This year it's like June 2nd or something like that. But until you finished spring sports, so any extra time you get, man, it's just great time for you and your team to be together and create more culture.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Glass by Lund, family owned and operated since 1967, offering the best price, value, and quality installation online at glassbylund.com. For the visiting Monroe Bearcats, their head coach Justin Prone. They'll start Efton Chisholm III, a 5'11 senior. McLean Thompson, a 6'3 senior. Jalen Flournoy, a 6-foot senior. James Storhow, a 6'1 senior. And Sam Olson, a 6'7 junior. So for the Bearcats, Chisholm, Thompson, Flournoy, Storhow, and Olson. For the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, their head coach Brian Hunter. Tucker Molina, 6'5 junior. Tristan Bates, a 6'3 senior. Pierce Darlington, a 6'6 senior. Braden Corwin, a 5'10 senior. And Braden Quantrill, a 6-foot senior. So Molina, Bates, it'll be Darlington, Corwin, and Quantrill, the starting quintet for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. We're getting set for tonight's opening tip-off and game action coming up. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies and the Monroe Bearcats are ready to go. The stretch run of the high school basketball season continues right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3. 2 minutes
For the Grizzlies, 6'3" senior.
Make me work over.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do It Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
Your referees tonight.
The national anthem from the Glacier Peak High School band, and we are set to get underway here at Glacier Peak High School. Nice crowd on hand, and thanks for being with us here on this Friday night. Aaron Keller, Brian Kelly, and Chad Smith are the officials, and we are set to go here at Glacier Peak High School. And Joel Boyer, you ready to go?
Tom, I've been ready from 2 weeks ago.
So again, the starters for the Monroe Bearcats: Efton Chisholm III, McLean Thompson, Jacob Flournoy, James Storho, and Sam Olson. For the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, Tucker Molina, Tristan Bates, Pierce Darlington, Braden Corwin, and Braden Quantrill. Set to go. Aaron Keller has the ball in his hand. The whistle sounds, and off we go here at Glacier Peak. It will be Monroe that'll control. Move to our left. Monroe's in the black uniforms, orange numbers, a little bit of white trim as well as they move it around. Left-hand side, Efton Chisholm III with it out the left wing. Looking across the top of the key, you can just already see that they just play, Glacier Peak plays good defense.
Absolutely.
They force them down. 10 on the shot clock now. Around the right side to Chisholm III again, down to 7 to shoot. Goes in, tries to penetrate a little bit, goes out for a three ball left corner. Will not go from the corner by McLean Thompson, and a rebound taken down by Braden Corwin. There's two Bradens in the starting lineup for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And this is Tucker Molina out on top of the key. Dribble drive to the right-hand side, goes in, scoop laying up, count the basket, and one. No, they're going to say offensive foul.
They're going to get Molina for an offensive foul right there, Tom.
Wow.
We've done a few games together. I'm going to call that interesting.
That's a good say. Wow.
I'll tell you the matchup already I'm going to be most excited to watch tonight. Braden Corwin, senior for the Grizzlies, matching up against Efton Chisholm, senior point guard for the Bearcats. What a great physical rivalry. Both players, you can tell they've been in the weight room.
Long cross-court pass as they dump it down low off the fingertips of a Glacier Peak Grizzly. Brian Hunter didn't like the call so much. He's down by the Gatorade bucket. He's gone to the baseline.
I think he's trying to get away from the referee so he can cool off a little bit down there.
It was Aaron Keller, who's one of the best officials in the entire league, but here's a steal. Grabbed by Corwin. Picked it off out of midair. Dumps it over for a pass. No good for the bucket, and is going to be count Braden Quantrill with the miss, and he's going to have to go to the free throw line and earn him at the stripe. Yet to have a score. We're 1:14 into the ball game, and the foul is going to be called on James Storhow. The 6'1 senior picks up his first personal foul and the first team foul, and the free throws coming up here for Braden Quantrill. First one, good. First lead of the game goes to Glacier Peak.
It's also going to be interesting to watch Sam Olson for the Bearcats. They're doing a lot of fronting with Darlington down low. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to guard him the whole game.
Next one is going to be a miss, and the rebound grabbed down by Storhow. And here comes Efton Chisholm III. Will play football at Eastern Washington next year. But he's a point guard on the basketball team tonight. Swings it over the right-hand side, still on the dribble. Reverses his field, dumps it underneath. No, he had the ball knocked away by Corwin and then grabbed out top by McLean Thompson. 13 to shoot, 12 to shoot. Way up at the center line now is Chisholm. Goes into the lane, fall-away jumper, falling down jumper won't go. Rebound controlled by Glacier Peak. Grabbed by Darlington. Up the floor they come. Here's Corwin, measures, fires, the three won't go. Tap up won't go as well. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be controlled by Glacier Peak. They'll keep control of it. Boy, Glacier Peak makes you just drain that shot clock.
Absolutely, and it is just half court, but very suffocating man-to-man. They have not switched off anybody. They fight through screens. They play man-to-man. Very impressive man.
Corner three ball that will not go for Glacier Peak. Tristan Bates with a miss, but another rebound taken down by Corwin, and it will be right back into the possession of Glacier Peak. The home team in the white uniforms, silver numbers, blue trim, outside three ball looked good, wouldn't go. Tristan Bates, but another rebound grabbed down by Glacier Peak. The rebound by Darlington, he was forced away from putting the shot up, and then it goes right back out on top of the key. Tucker Molina with it. Little stutter step, dribble, move, count the basket, and one. He got called for the offensive foul the last time. This time he was not going to be denied.
No, and he took that rebound, that offensive rebound. The shot clock didn't reset. It looked like Brian Hunter was wanting to check on that. Molina just made sure, I'm going to have this ball in my hands. I'm not giving it up. I'm just going to make sure I'm going to go to the score on this.
Sam Olson with the foul, his first. Second team, free throw, no good. Molina could not complete the three-point play. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor called here by the Monroe Bearcats. We'll step aside with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 3-0. Glacier Peak leads by a field goal. Back with more right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Welcome back. Tom Lafferty along with Joel Boyer and Alex Clausius. And Alex, you saw these teams play earlier. You were up at Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I was up at Mount Vernon this last Friday doing an event for the Mariners, but also got to stop by and go.
For Monroe, there's air ball. Three ball won't go. Ball goes out of bounds. Corwin's 0 for 2 from beyond the arc so far, and he's hearing it from the Monroe faithful on the far side.
You know, we're talking about Glacier Peak's defense and really being suffocating, really great full man-to-man, or half-court man-to-man, but Monroe's no slouch either. They got a lot of great athletes on this team out on the floor right now, and they're doing a really good job of staying between the hoop and the Grizzlies.
So Monroe with the basketball, moving to our left. They're in the black uniforms, orange numbers. McLean Thompson, cross-court to Chisholm. Efton Chisholm III. Back out for a long outside three. That's an air ball on the other end. There's a matching set Air ball on one end, and now he's going to hear it. Storho will from the Glacier Peak crowd on the far side.
And that possession, Glacier Peak went to a 1-2-2 zone right there, Tom. A little matchup, little switchy man matchup zone. Really gave Monroe some fits there.
Molina into the paint, swings it over right-hand side. Will he go 0 for 3? He will. Rims out, no good by Corwin. Right back down to Corwin off the rim. It's going to be a miss. And we're going to have free throws coming up here. Actually, I thought it was Corwin, but actually down low was Braden Quantrill. And Quantrill will go to the free throw line, and the foul is going to be called on Jalen Flournoy. His first personal foul, third team foul on the Bearcats.
I'll tell you, Tom, that was really great about what Quantrill got that offensive rebound, kicked it back out. Bates saw that Quantrill was wide open, fired it right back inside. Quantrill went up, didn't make that layup, but got it hammered pretty hard. Missed that first free throw, so you can put the second one down.
Second one on the way. It's up, and it is no good. Missed them both. Oh, no, made the first one, missed the second one. It's okay. It is a 4-point lead, biggest lead for Glacier Peak, but they answer on the other end with a bucket laying good. McLean Thompson lays it up, and it's 6-4 Glacier Peak with 3:21 to go here in the opening quarter of action. We do have a final in boys basketball a little earlier this evening. Meadowdale 64, Edmonds Woodway 53. Here's a steal. It's going to be grabbed by Monroe, then off the knee of James Storho and out of bounds. He was fed the ball off the steal, and then he couldn't control it. Went out of bounds, so turn it right back over to Glacier Peak. With 35 to shoot, Monroe will send Blake Rybar in. I feel like I'm calling a Bearcats football game. Rybar and Chisholm.
Bobby Siebers.
And Siebers checks in. Checking in now for Glacier Peak, so kind of a little bit of substituting there during this final 3:07 of the first quarter, and a 2-point lead for Glacier Peak, and GP has the basketball. Tucker Molina with it. Out the left wing, met there by Chisholm. Changes direction, gets a double screen, and then puts up a three, and down it goes. Two guys set him a screen, and behind that screen, he fires it in from outside, and it's a 5-point lead for Glacier Peak.
Well, and Chisholm, unfortunately, right there, made the poor decision to go underneath that double. If there's a double screen up top right there, Molina set up the whole time coming across. As soon as he saw him go underneath, he stopped, pulled up, hit that three.
We're going to have a foul called here. It's going to be on Blake Fodge. Fodge picks up the foul, his first personal foul, fourth team foul. So 4 team fouls on Monroe, 1 on Glacier Peak. We're at 2:34 to go in the opening quarter. Molina quickly brings it up. Fars in the corner, left-hand side, air ball, no good. Bobby Siebers. Boy, we've seen more air balls tonight just in this first quarter than we've seen all year. Here's a fadeaway jumper that won't go right side. It was a 2-ball that did not go for Storho. Kept alive, though. Back up. No, wouldn't go. It never touched the rim, so it's going to keep the shot clock going. Bodies on the floor, and they still have it. Monroe with the basketball. Chisholm now backs away.
Plenty of time to set up.
17 to shoot. They go right side to Storho. Back to Chisholm, looks over at Justin Prone, the head coach. Brand new head coach. 10 to shoot, and an outside 3-ball that won't go for McLean Thompson. A miss there, and the rebound controlled by Glacier Peak. Molina at the right wing. One-handed pass over to the corner. Will he go 0 for 4? No. You didn't think Corwin was going to go 0 for his first 4, did you?
No, and he was about ready to just throw a fit if he missed his 4th in a row. But for Braden Corwin, it's his home gym. He knows it way too well to miss 4.
12 for the lead. 1.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Bounce pass underneath for Glacier Peak. Kick it back out for Chisholm. Puts up a 3. Top of the iron. Won't go. Back out for another 3. Reload and firing in for James Storho. That kind of stops the bleeding a little bit. It was an 8-point lead. It's now 5 at 12-7. Coming up in a minute to play in the opening quarter at Glacier Peak High School on a Friday night.
Part of the problem for Glacier Peak is they've had too many misses. Some good defense by Monroe, but you feel like they're starting to find some holes in a little bit. Some easier shots going for Glacier Peak right now.
Corwin misses the 3. The rebound grabbed there by Bobby Siebers, and he gets hit to the ground, and he'll go to the free throw line. Siebers is the only sophomore on the varsity for Glacier Peak. Fodge picks up the foul. That's a second personal foul. 5th team foul. No sophomores on the team for the Monroe Bearcats. First free throw is good for Siebers, and he will get another. It's 13-7. It's Glacier Peak, so the scoreboards don't always match each other, but they do eventually start talking to each other. Now it says 13-7 on both scoreboards. 50.6 seconds to go in the first quarter. Next free throw is good. It's a double score at 14-7. Monroe is not led in this ball game. Efton Chisholm third at the right wing. Swinging around the corner, they work the perimeter left side. McLean Thompson with the basketball. Thompson looks, now he just penetrates, then he dumps a pass over the left-hand side. Turnaround jumper off the glass and in by Blake Rybar. Rybar got it a nice pass. He was closed off defensively, dumped it to the guy that was open and laid it up and in. 25 seconds ago, shot clock is dead, first quarter.
Monroe in a high 2-3 zone right now, trying to take away some of those passing lanes, but look for Corwin, who's trying to get himself directed a little bit to the right spot he wants to shoot on.
Molina to Corwin. Back to Molina. Down to 11 seconds ago. Back to Corwin again. Left side. Down to Molina. Down to 6 seconds. Back to Corwin. Elevates. Fires. Three. Won't go. High rebound taken down. And the clock will expire. End of the first quarter. And our score. It's the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 14. The Monroe Bearcats 9. Back with more. Second quarter coming up right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
The game award, but Alex Clausius, we got to go mullet of the night.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Fodge over there, that's some good lettuce. Just old-fashioned, let it flow. And I had a lot of respect for that because I just got a haircut. But, man, if I could do that, I definitely would. I would definitely fit in better in South Dakota, like Boyer said, off the air for sure when I'm on there for business in the next week. So kudos to that kid. Nice job, 2-5.
Yeah, he has got the mullet going. So here we go, second quarter. We'll take a look at the first quarter numbers here in a moment. Right-hand side, that's Braden Quantrill. Give it off to Braden Corwin. Now to Molina. Tekra Molina on the dribble. 19 to shoot. It's 14-9 the score. Molina will shoot a three. Blythe thought he got hit, but Molina says, down it goes. And it's an 8-point lead for a three ball. Here's an underhand lay-in that won't go on the other end for Monroe. They're only getting one shot at it. Jalen Flournoy with that miss. And here comes Molina again. Brings it down, double teams as he stops at the outside of the three. Dribble drive along the baseline, going in with a right-hand jumper. That won't go for Bobby Siebers. Body's on the floor. Who's got it? It's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to go the other way, and it'll be Monroe basketball. Buddy Patrick has a look at the first quarter numbers.
Monroe shot 4 for 15 from the field, 1 for 5 from three-point range. Did not shoot a free throw. Glacier Peak 4 for 13 from the field, 2 for 10 from three-point range. 10 three-point shots made taken in the first quarter, 4 for 7 from the line.
7:11 to go here, the first half, 17-9 the score. Tom Lafferty along with Joel Boyer, Alex Clausius, Buddy Patrick. Thanks for being with us here on this Friday night at Glacier Peak High School. 17-9 the score with 7 minutes to go in the first half. And the shot on the way that won't go for Monroe. Rebound taken down by Siebers. Ball went out of bounds, and it'll be last touch by Glacier Peak. Monroe will take it right on back. And Brian Hunter says he wants to talk about it. In fact, he gets halfway out to the free throw line, and he says, I really want to talk about it. We'll take a break and come back. 6:49 to go in the first half. 17-9 the score, the lead for Glacier Peak. Back in 30 seconds right here on KRKO. So we've got a great mullet on the Monroe on Blake Fodge, but one of the assistant coaches for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, you'd swear it's Chase Elliott of NASCAR, driving the number 24 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet.
You know, you just never know who you're going to see here at the Cave. You never know.
He's number 9. That's right, his dad, Austin Bill from Dawsonville. Here we go. Back to basketball now here tonight at Glacier Peak. Dribble into the paint, going in, body on the floor, blocking foul is going to be called. Jalen Flournoy kind of went in. It was one guy dressed in black against about 5 guys dressed in white, and he gets fouled, and Siebers picks up the foul. And he went to the floor, didn't he?
He did. He took that, and he was kind of his block charge. Not sure what Brian Kelly's going to call. Called that one a block right there. One of the things I honestly, Tom, going back to that timeout by Brian Hunter, you wonder if he called that. Sam Olson had a really good look at about a 14-footer, just rimmed it on the possession before. Olson, I don't believe, has scored in this game yet, and that's the leading scorer for the Monroe Bearcats. In Brian Hunter's own words, he could start for any team in Wesco. You do not want Sam Olson to get going. It's only an 8-point game with that, or a 7-point game with that free throw going in right there. You don't want Olson to get on a run. And so you wonder if he's saying, hey, guys, remember that scouting plan we talked about? Remember that defense? We don't want 23 to be hurting us like that.
Well, and to peel back the onion a little bit, when I was setting up the gear, they were doing their walkthrough, and he talked about Olson.
Yep.
We got to make sure he doesn't beat us.
Sure.
And so they worked on that. Here's Tucker Molina with a 3. Rims out, no good. Way out top side. Back up and in by Quantrill. Braden Quantrill gets the offensive rebound, puts it back up and in, and it's the biggest lead of the game for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. They lead by 9, 19-10. Now Monroe with the basketball. They're dressed in black, moving to our left. They're the visiting team tonight. Dump it down low. Here's a little spin move back up. Kind of lost handle on it there. Sam Olson momentarily. Cleared out by Glacier Peak. Now Molina to right wing. Goes around a screen, pull-up jumper from 14. He flops, no call. Siebers grabs it. Little double pump, puts it up and in. Did I say flops?
I was very happy they didn't make a foot call right there. Molina got himself into the free throw lane and decided, I'm going to miss this shot, boss. We better go to the floor.
Here's a shot block there as Efton Chisholm went in there, had the shot blocked away. They're going for a lay-in, back up the other way. Pierce Darlington gets the bucket for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. It's out now to a 13-point lead. That was quick. 23-10, 5:08 to play first half.
Quick 6-0 run right there by the Grizzlies after they were up 17-10, now 23-10.
Efton Chisholm steps into a 3-ball. Too hard, no good from the top of the key. Rebound grabbed by Olson. Power move to the rack. Underhand lay-in, no good. He gets fouled on the way in.
Good attack right there by Olson. You could just kind of tell, like, this ball came to me. I got it. I'm not going to be denied. And he had a great crab dribble, power dribble. Got the front side of the rim taken away. Decided to go for the backside. Got hit in the head. Let's see if he can't put these two down. Maybe get himself a little bit on a roll right now.
First free throw good. The foul was called on Pierce Darlington, his third team foul. Sam Olson, only a junior, 6'7". He's the kind of guy you want.
Absolutely. Good one to build a program around for first-year coach Justin Crone.
Next free throw, no good, and the rebound controlled by Glacier Peak. Braden Quantrill has it out at the left wing, directing traffic. 4:44 to go first half, 23-11, the 12-point lead for the Grizzlies. They have the basketball. Quantrill reverses his field, goes into the paint, pull-up jumper from 8, won't go. Offside rebound. It's going to be grabbed down by Monroe. And outlet pass to Chisholm. Chisholm brings it up. Tried a bullet pass over to Brian Hunter. He still has pretty good moves, but he hasn't played in a long, long time. I think he actually had a teammate there, but I don't think he was expecting the pass to come whistling in there that fast.
Not so much, and that was one of those where Chisholm was able to put the burners on and get around Molina. Molina kind of bait him into it, wrapped that arm around, tipped it from behind, right as Chisholm was throwing that ball. It almost could have been off Molina, but they said it was last touch by Chisholm. It was a nice smile shared between those two competitors.
Here's Siebers going in, and he's not going to call the charge that time. They're going to count the bucket. It's going to be and one. The foul's going to be on Jalen Flournoy. He went to the floor hard, but they will call him for the foul, his second personal foul, 6th team foul.
And, Justin Prone, coach for Monroe right now, is really talking to Aaron Keller right now. And I got to tell you, I think he's got a good leg to stand on here. It wasn't a block charge call because it was definitely moving by Flournoy, but I thought Siebers dropped that shoulder at that last minute and really kind of gave him a pounding right there. I thought that easily could have gone against Glacier Peak on the offensive side, but oh well.
Of course, we haven't missed a call in 20 years sitting up here 40 feet from the floor.
You know, shocker, I have yet to have a ref ask me my opinion of a call, though. Whether I was coaching on the bench or up here announcing with you, Tom, nobody has asked me my opinion.
Here's a dump in pass down low as they swing it back out to the right side. Here's a scoop lay-in. Maybe it ill-advised there by Storho because it's controlled by Glacier Peak. Nice move there. And one for Caleb Lee. Did you see that move?
Real pretty. Oh, man, Tom.
He just absolutely left him just in the lurch.
Well, and that was a 2-on-2 situation there.
Nice
Lee
move
with the ball
there.
and control that.
And one.
But Molina was taken off on the backside, hoping to get that lob thrown up maybe for a rafter-raising dunk. But right there, Efton Chisholm turned around and realized, I better watch that backside, too. They decided to double Molina, and Lee's like, whoop, pull that ball back on a string, go right in for a lay-in, and see if he can put the and one down.
And he does.
What a move, and that's such a fantastic play. You always love it when you can finish off that free throw of the and one and not just leave it open right there. AC's seen a lot of those in his days, but you got to make sure you get that free throw down to make it the play of the day.
Alex, what are you seeing over there? You're kind of looking relaxed over there. Oh, here we go.
It's kind of different. I don't have to be on the sidelines. It's not like football where you have to be constantly, trying to track down a coach at halftime. But Glacier Peak, one of the craziest things I'm thinking about, how quickly it got up to 18 points. I mean, offensively, they've been a lot more efficient, but defensively, I don't think Monroe's scored a field goal in a very long time. But Glacier, not in this quarter. So it's tough to win, Tom, if you can't put the ball in the hoop. That's just my WSU education coming out, but I just learned that.
Always a great report from Alex there.
I tell you what, Steve Willits does a phenomenal job for us oftentimes, but he's not here with us tonight. We are just fortunate to have that WSU education of Alex Classius coming into play.
You have a rebuttal, or are you
No,
not?
I'll wait till after halftime. I got to think of a few things.
29-11 the score. In fact, I hadn't realized it had gone to 18. Last time I written down it was 15, and so that last three ball makes it 29-11 with Glacier Peak with the lead.
And let's not forget, Tom, Glacier Peak started off 2 of 10 from the three-point land in the first quarter. They haven't even shot well tonight, and yet they're still going to be at 29-11 at this point.
Here's Efton Chisholm III on a little spin move going in off the glass and put it in. He just decided to take his athleticism and say, I'll just take it here, boys.
Yeah, let me get a little space. I'm going to come right at your body and see if you can handle it.
Here's Braden Quantrill with it for Glacier Peak. Now Tucker Molina on the dribble out by the logo in the center of the floor.
2-3 zone right now by the Bearcats. See if they can get anything more out of this.
Here's Caleb Lee with a three that rims off no good. High rebound by Siebers. Gets his own rebound. Back out. Molina looks at a three. Instead, he dribbles in. He was going to dump off a pass, but it goes into the hands of Monroe. Here come the Bearcats laying up. No good. A miss. A miss there by McLean Thompson. May have been partially blocked from behind. Now quickly down is Molina. He goes in too hard, and it's going to be a foul called, and Tucker Molina will go to the free throw line. There's quite an exchange there, and they're going to whistle this one on Sam Olson, his second personal foul, 8th team foul. Justin Prone doesn't like the call. I thought there may have been a call for Siebers a little over the back off the rebound.
Yeah, there's a few calls, and one of the, I'll say kind of a trademark of Brian Hunter teams is they play very physical.
Oh yeah,
and they'll play up to that line, sometimes over the line. There's been some Glacier Peak teams, even some Stanwood teams back in the day that kind of play over that line a little bit, but they do a really good job of knowing where that line is, and then trying to play right up to it and be that physical, but not so much that they get, in too many foul troubles, that kind of stuff.
Efton Chisholm takes the ball in. He gets fouled on the way in, and he will go to the free throw line. The foul is going to be whistled on Pierce Darlington, his second personal foul, 4th team foul. So Olson for Monroe now has 2 personals. You going to take him out, Coach? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, and honestly, in a sad way right now, he's not helping you as much as you'd like to in the offensive column. He's doing a lot of little things, trust me. He's doing a lot of little things to make that team go, to make that 2-3 zone kind of kind of run. He's the middle of that, kind of the heartbeat of that in the back line. But he's not on a roll right now. Like, we can't take him out. His scoring's keeping us in it. Yeah, sit him right now, see if we can't calm him down, get him ready for that second half possibly.
First free throw good, second one no good. It's 31-14 the score, the lead for Glacier Peak. And they'll just kind of use some clock here as Quantrill has it, top of the key, bounce pass right side, Seabers goes to the baseline, puts it up with the left hand from the baseline. Bobby Seabers not playing like a sophomore as he puts it in with the left hand. Here is Chisholm, corner shot is going to be no good in the left corner by Jacob Flournoy. It was an air ball, may have been partially deflected. Now down the other way, Caleb Lee measures, fires, three that won't go. Rebound controlled by the Monroe Bearcats. Outlet pass to Chisholm. Here come the Bearcats out of back court. Swing it left-hand side to Thompson. Long cross-court pass over to the right-hand side. Going in, laying up no good. Offensive foul will be called. Whistled on Jalen Flournoy. Little bit out of control there, Joel. And he knocked over, well, no.
My view, again, 48 feet away from it. I felt Seabers got there and kind of undercut him a little bit to kind of do that whole get my feet out a little further, absorb that blow, see what happens. I think the Monroe Bearcats staff agrees with me. I think the Glacier Peak staff thinks I'm awfully and wrong in that situation. But one of the things we'd love to see, though, they just brought in 2 starters, have been sitting for 4.5 minutes from the Glacier Peak team. How deep they go is just impressive.
Flournoy picks up the foul. That's his third. He'll go to the bench. Glacier Peak with the basketball. Seabers to Corwin. NBA three that won't go from the top of the key, but the rebound back up and in. There's your Tristan Bates. It's offensive rebounds and putbacks.
And right now, this Monroe's 2-3 zone is really showing its cracks when it comes to rebounding. Zones are hard to rebound out of anyway, Tom, but man, they're really struggling to find those cutters that are just attacking the offensive glass.
Outside three ball, no good by McLean Thompson. Kept alive by Monroe. Here's a step-through move there by Chisholm. He went in. They're going to call him for the offensive foul. They're going to say that he was a player control foul there, and it'll be on Efton Chisholm III. And for Chisholm, that'll be his second personal foul. 10th team foul. Player control, so no shots. But they're already putting him in the double bonus, and Glacier Peak's only committed 4 fouls in the half.
Yeah, and with only 55 seconds left, it's probably not going to come into play as much there. But I would leave Chisholm out there. He is the point guard. Just tell him be really careful with that for the last 48 seconds here. But Glacier Peak's going to try to milk this down to just one possession for them, one possession for Monroe, and see if they can't get a score and a stop.
Coach wasn't sure who that foul had been called on. Down to 5 to shoot. Corwin has it. Down to 2 to shoot. Quantrill will shoot a 3. Down it goes. At 29.94 seconds, he drains that 3 ball on the shot clock. Down to 20 to play in the half. It's 38-14. Chisholm has it. Reverses his field, goes into the paint. Puts it over into the corner. Dumps the pass left-hand side. Long cross-court pass goes over right side to McLean Thompson. Thompson with it. Looking left, and instead he goes inside. Turnaround jumper that won't go. A miss by Rybar, and we will expire at the end of the first half. 38-14 the score. The lead of 24 points. Wow. Boy, that got up there quick.
Well, and if you remember, it was 17-10 when they put that free throw in for the Bearcats to make it 17-10. And boy, that changed up pretty quick on that 21-4 run to finish off the quarter for the Grizzlies.
So that is our score at the half. We'll come back, take a look at the first half numbers, and if the playoffs started tonight, we'll do that coming up here at halftime. Our score at the half, it's the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 38 and the Monroe Bearcats 14. You're listening to Western Conference Basketball, KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do-It-Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
Out on top of the key. Dribble drives the right side, goes in, through play it up, count the basket and one. Molina with it. Little stutter step, dribble move, count the basket and one. A 4-point lead, biggest lead for Glacier Peak, but they answer on the other end with a bucket laying good. McLean is there by Chisholm, changes direction, gets a double screen, and then puts up a three and down it goes. Molina at the right wing, one-handed pass over to the corner. Will he go 0 for 4? No. He puts up a three, top of the iron, won't go. Back out for another three, reload and fire it in for the penetrates. He's done the pass over the left-hand side. Turnaround jumper off the glass and in by Blake Rybar. 15 to shoot. It's 14-9 to score. Molina will shoot a three. Lions not even got it yet. But here's Tucker Molina with a three. Rims out, no good. Way out top side. Back up and in by Quattro. 13, he flops. Goes tall. Siebers grabs it. Little double up, puts it up and in. As Efton Chisholm went in there and the shot blocked away. They're going for a lay-in, back up the other way. Here's Starling.
Smile share between those two competitors.
Here's Siebers going in, and he's not hold because it's controlled by Glacier Peak. Nice move there, and one for Caleb Lee. Here's Efton Chisholm the third on a little spin move going in off the glass and put it in. He just decided to score one NBA three that won't go. Top of the key, but the rebound back up and in. There's Norwood has it, down to 2 to shoot. Quattro will shoot a three. Down it goes! On the top of the key. Dribble drive to the right-hand side, goes in. Scoop laying up. To be Joel, the team to beat down south at the Kinko.
Yeah, I mean, they sure do. That RPI 6 is a really big number facing you down right there. I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on, but I watched Woodinville boys play this summer at Snohomish's tournament, and they are laden with talent. One of the better players, I think the top kicker in the league, and Blake Glessner as their starting point guard, who's just phenomenal, has so much talent. I'm not really sure what Woodinville's doing on there at RPI number 28. Looks like they're 5th, I think, in Kinko. But don't count them out, because when I watched them play this summer, they looked like one of the better teams I'd seen in a while. So who knows what's happening with that. Not sure if they have all their players, maybe some injuries, but dangerous Kinko. You never want to count them out.
Well, Mount Si at number 6 in an RPI. Redmond at number 12. Skyline, Alex, your Skyline Spartans at 15. Inglemore 19. Woodville 28.
The one thing about Kinko is that's crazy. Well, even when they do this West King tournament, is sure they've maybe seen each other at a summer tournament or a non-conference for sure, but you haven't seen them for the last 3 months in a lock and change in 3 months, and you don't know what you're going to get until you go watch their, I guess, I don't know what the basketball term for huddle is because I know it is for football, but still, you're going to go watch their film and kind of realize what they are as a team. But Mount Si easily could be in that last game down at the Woodshed in Tacoma. Mount Si's got about, I think, like 8 guys that are like 6'6 plus, and one guy committed to St. Mary's who can straight up ball. So I would be definitely on the lookout for them. I know they've had a couple of some losses, but they're playing high caliber teams down in tournaments that are out of the state of Washington. So I'd be looking out for Mount Si. I don't know who was on Skyline's team back in my day, since I graduated a few times, but a few years ago. Man, more than a few years ago. Let's actually go back through my high school years. Let's go to a segment.
Let's not.
We don't need to fill that much time today.
Let's take a look at the Wesco 3A, though. Remember, you bring Ferndale and Squalicum into the equation as well. Stanwood, Marysville, Pilchuck, they are the class of that division up there, Wesco 3A, both at 7-0 in league play. They play at the end of the regular season. Mountain Lake Terrace is 2A, so you throw them out. Edmonds, Woodway, Meadowdale are 5-2. Arlington is 5-3. Then Shorecrest, Marysville, Getchell, Shorewood, all at 3-3. You throw out Cedar Crest and Archbishop Murphy because they're 3 and 4. Everett 2 and 6. Linwood, Snohomish, and Oak Harbor. So definitely you're thinking Stanwood, Marysville, Pilchuck 1 and 2.
Oh, you have to, and that's what I mean. You've seen Barry Gould and Zach Ward. I mean, they just phenomenal coaches year in and year out. They have a lot of talent. I mean, you got to give that nod to Zach Ward. Barry Gould, been a long-time coach at Marysville Pilchuck. I think he's a fantastic man. They've really had a run in talent in the last few years here, but Stanwood they're just kind of the epitome of the reload. You're waiting for the rebuild here. It won't exist with Stanwood. They have that youth feeder program going so well. It's that one high school town, a lot of commitment from that whole community towards basketball. And Zach Ward, a proven winner, gone to state so many times. Harlan Robeson, great assistant coach for him. His son is just lighting up there. It's just exciting to see. They just constantly are reloading. I would say Stanwood is that number 1 seed up there with Marysville Pilchuck, as good as they are, and they've been good, and they're fantastic. Right. Don't ever count out a Stanwood coach, Zach Ward team.
And Alex, we kind of like the way Edmonds Woodway plays.
For sure, being the KRKO resident bracketologist, Alex Brackett's over here, a little bit different than March Madness because we actually know the seeds because they're placed on their ranking or their record going into it. We like Edmonds Woodway. I think this could definitely be a year with so many teams at 3 and 3 or 4 and 3. There's gonna be a lot of teams with some wins and definitely some losses. That there could be a surprise team that makes a run to their Final Four or even to the championship or the 3A. We do like Edmonds Woodway. They got talent with Mudong Bowl. When you have a star like that and he gets hot, you never know what could happen. You know, Arlington, we saw them last week, and we said they need to win their next 4 games. They did, and look at their number 6 right there. And they could definitely make some noise, too, with some height and definitely some proven players out there. And then Marysville Getchell, I always like that. Malachi Knight, he can light up the scoreboard in a heartbeat, too. So there's a lot of talent over in Westco 3A, and definitely you can't take any game for granted.
So that is a look at if the playoffs started tonight. We'll take a break, come back, take a look at the first half numbers, and get set for the second half. Monroe and Glacier Peak on a Friday night, 38-14. Grizzlies. We'll be back with more after this.
Frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200-plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
Underway. We'll take a look at the first half numbers at our first opportunity as we're underway here with Monroe on the alternating possession, controlling to start the second half. Monroe again, the visiting team in the black uniforms, orange numbers, white trim, and a 3-ball that's no good by Efton Chisholm, but the putback back up and in by Blake Fodge makes it 38-16. So it was a 24-point lead at halftime. It's 38-16 now, whereas we're about 30 seconds into the second half. Braden Corwin at the right wing. Dump it to Quantrill. Braden Quantrill outside 3-ball on the way. Rims off, no good. Missed there by Tristan Bates. Ball goes out of bounds It'll be last touched here by Glacier Peak. It'll be Monroe basketball. So Fudge, who did not start the game, will be in the starting lineup here to start the second half. Who do we have on the bench?
Looks like they took Flournoy out and put him down there. They're looking, I think, to get a little bit bigger in that 2-3 zone, maybe try to get a little bit more size. They still have Olsen in the middle, but Fudge is definitely a larger one down there. Why?
Over the left-hand side, Monroe with the basketball. McLean Thompson kicks over right side to Storehouse, puts it in. Ball's going to be knocked away. It's going to be grabbed here by the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Quantrill with it. Top of the key, Tucker Molina measures and fires a 3-ball. It's up and in by Tucker Molina. That is 41-16. Big lead. It's all Glacier Peak tonight.
Real pretty transition right there. Tom started with that block by Corwin. Molina gets the ball, gets it up, fires it up, ends up with the ball back in his hands, three-pointer. Just a lot of touches, a lot of players. You can see a lot of teamwork, 5-man teamwork for this Glacier Peak squad.
As the Bearcats work the perimeter, give it off to McLean Thompson, puts it up, rims off, no good. Fudge grabs the rebound, battles for it, still trying to get it. He dives to the floor. There's 3 bodies on the floor, now 2, and they're going to have a jump ball called, and it will be over to the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Take a look at those first half numbers with Buddy.
Monroe in the first half 5 for 26 from the field, 1 for 8 from three-point range. Glacier Peak 13 for 29 from the field, 4 for 16 from three-point range for 25%. Leading scorer is Glacier Peak's Tucker Molina with 12 points. For the Monroe Bearcats, James Storho with 5.
Here's Braden Quantrill. It was Braden Corwin. Too many Bradens. Here's Corwin. This is a 3 on the way for Corwin in front of the iron, no good. The rebound flagged down and grabbed by Pearson Darlington. Give it off to Tucker Molina. Molina on the dribble, fresh 35 on the shot clock. Corwin, left-hand side to Bates, down underneath for the alley-oop for Tucker Molina, and the slam dunk.
And that was
He's
one of
got
those.
17 points in the ball game.
You can kind of see that coming from behind. They got Molina out there on the wing. He's been playing the point tonight. All of a sudden he's on the wing. You're like, why is he on the wing? Well, he's going to do a backdoor cut. What a pretty finish. Very smooth, fluid player.
As they swing it over the right-hand side, Monroe with the basketball. James Storho, now fadeaway jumper, rattles off twice, won't go for Sam Olsen. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Glacier Peak. It'll be Monroe basketball under the hoop. Monroe down 43-16. Looking on the inbounds. Gets it in the corner, right-hand side, 3-ball. Down it goes for James Storho off the inbounds pass from Efton Chisholm, and he puts it in. It's 43-19. Now Corwin to Quantrill to Molina. Molina dribble drive in through a bunch of traffic, and some of that traffic reached out and grabbed hold. And they'll call this one a McLean Thompson. Picks up the foul. That's his first personal foul, and the first team foul of the second half. So out of bounds baseline for Glacier Peak. Molina to look for it. Gets it in. As it goes to Corwin. Now to Bates. Inside to Quantrill. Waits for the defender to go by and then just says, I'll go back this other way. And he turns around, lays it up and in. It's 45-19.
And I would almost give McLean Thompson a block shot on that made basket, but unfortunately you can't do both.
No. Out on top of the key for Monroe. Thompson with it. On the dribble, stops at the left wing. Swing it over to the right-hand side, but it's intercepted by Corwin. Outlet pass up the floor to Molina. Goes in, laying up, no good. Partially blocked. Back up and in by Quantrill. And it's up and in, and he will go to the free throw line. There's the key to Glacier Peak. You follow up on it. Molina goes in, laying it up, no good. Partially blocked. I miss it. Back up and in. One more guys behind me getting my back too.
I'll tell you, Quantrill's really impressed me a lot. What do they have him listed at here? Quantrill's listed at 6 feet tall, and he looks just about that. That's no more. Very, very strong. You can tell he's been in the weight room, that kind of stuff, put a lot of work and time in. Not the tallest player, but, man, he sure puts a lot of effort into his offensive rebounding. He's the one that actually plays the high post of that zone on offense, and he does a great job just directing traffic, getting that ball, never panicking. Exactly what you want out of that senior presence, who just is kind of your do everything you need him to do, score maybe a little bit.
Monroe had called the timeout, so I just wanted to make sure we knew why we were
Oh,
doing
perfect.
so
Thank
much
you. Thank
talking.
you. Yes. Yes.
Finish your point.
No, I really love watching those players, and we've talked about before. You say I always love that player that kind of isn't the leading scorer, but is going to do everything you need him to do to win. Quantrill's that kid tonight.
We will update you on a score earlier tonight in boys basketball. Wesco 3A, Meadowdale beat Edmonds Woodway 64-53, so there's a big win for the Meadowdale Mavericks tonight. And in that game, Colton Walsh led Meadowdale with 36 points in that ball game. And the second game of that doubleheader down at Meadowdale High School, Edmonds Woodway girls leading Meadowdale 19-15 with 3:54 left in the second quarter. Steve Willett's on the scene down there for... They couldn't remember what they called the game. Did we decide what they called it? The Rubber Chicken Game. They call the annual basketball matchup the Rubber Chicken Games between Edmonds Woodway and Meadowdale. Those are a couple schools that really just don't like each other and haven't for about 50 years.
Is it good to get the rubber chicken or not get the rubber chicken? I get confused sometimes.
Well, I think you want the rubber chicken, don't you?
I guess so.
Quantrill has 12 after he puts that lay-in up and in. It's 48-19 with 4.5 to play here in the third quarter at Glacier Peak High School. Thompson goes to the ground as the ball stripped away. Molina gets the steal. Molina goes in. Nice no-look bounce pass. Quantrill with the lay-in up and good. What a pass by Molina. Now quickly down. And I tell you what, Glacier Peak dropped back on defense and knocked the ball away as it looked like Monroe was going to get an easy bucket, but instead racing down there was Tristan Bates to knock the ball away. Inbounds pass for Chisholm at the baseline for Monroe. Still looking, finally does. Get it into Thompson. Now back to Chisholm again. Comes to the top of the key. 50-19, 31-point lead. Dump it down low to Olsen. And now we're going to call Olsen for the offensive foul. That's probably a good call.
And you can tell there's a huge, it's such an attention that it's a detail they're really paying a lot of attention to, that GP coaching staff. They've talked and really preached to these players about you take charges. You take those away. You take away possessions. You get a foul for their team. It also get an empty possession. It's such a positive thing for your team. And you can tell they've really worked hard at being in place to take those.
Fourth turnover for Monroe here in the half. Here's Corwin, elevates and puts down a three ball. It's 53-19 the score. We're 6 points away, and it could be here coming up. Here's Corwin again. Feed it to Molina, looking for the alley-oop. He got hit to the baseline, but the ball goes out of bounds, so no call on a foul. And then we're going to have a technical foul called on Molina as the official, Chad Smith, he's going to come over and talk with Aaron Keller. Molina, it was complete. He thought he got fouled. He got hit to the boards pretty hard.
And he did, and he's absolutely got that gripe and that frustration. But like Buddy Patrick just said, you need to understand this game is decided, and you do not need to get involved in any of this extra shenanigans when you're up by 34.
Well, and you know what? Put him on the bench and leave him there.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? You don't want to not be playing on Monday.
You don't need to play a Mariner down your starting point guard, leading scorer, and kind of your whole facilitator in this.
Right. And your slam dunk champion as well. First free throw good for James Storho.
And the truth about technical fouls called by officials, they rarely call you the first time you look at them sideways.
Right.
It's usually been built up. Sometimes over a season. These are the same refs you see night in and night out. Yeah, they rotate through, but when you're a good team, you get the better officials, and you're going to see these guys often. You don't know if it's just been brewing tonight or brewing over the last couple of weeks, but Molina, I absolutely agree, got knocked out of bounds, and he had a gripe about that, but he needs to make sure his cooler head prevails.
So it is a Monroe basketball after a couple of free throws here. 53-21 the score. The lead is 32 points. Dribble drive in. Chisholm has the ball stripped away, and he's going to get fouled on the way in, and after Chisholm the third will go to the free throw line. They're going to foul. This foul is going to be called on Pierce Darlington. That'll be his third personal foul and the second team foul of the half against the Bearcats.
And, it's only been two calls that maybe have gone against Glacier Peak.
Right.
But when they happen in back-to-back possessions, they're starting to get this kind of edge to the game. I really hope that coaching staff can maybe call a timeout and say, we're up 30. I'll repeat it, gentlemen. We're up 30.
Right.
Keep your head. Play your style of game. This has been a great game. Let's not mar it by something else happening.
Let's take a break as a timeout called by Monroe with 3:17 to go in the third quarter. 53-23, a 30-point lead for Glacier Peak. More from Glacier Peak right after this timeout.
Since 2003, Gamut 360 Holdings has been recognized as a premier local builder of new homes and commercial properties in the Puget Sound area. Our 360-degree construction approach matches first-class materials with the highest construction standards to create truly unique and timeless communities for our Northwest neighborhoods. Visit Gamut360.com and discover the home that matters most to you.
Back to action. Glacier Peak with the basketball and a 30-point lead. Braden Corwin has it. Feed it down the right-hand side. Put it up too hard off the side of the iron. Side of the backboard, no good by Caleb Lee, and he will go to the free throw line. Lee, the 6'1 senior, will go to the line. The foul is going to be called on Gendron. Dylan Gendron, his first personal foul, fourth team foul. And Caleb Lee at the free throw line. First free throw, no good. The lead remains 30. I'm just saying, 40 means we go to running clock. And we almost got there, and then that little
kerfuffle
happened.
A different kerfuffle than the Kansas State game.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah, that was a few kerfuffles.
Yeah, and other things like that. Here's Efton Chisholm, the third. Three ball, bang! Down it goes from the top of the key. Chisholm, the third. It makes it 54-26. Here comes Quantrill, brings it out of backcourt on the dribble. Braden Quantrill changes direction, goes to the right side. Give it off to Lee. Lee on the dribble. Now he changes direction quickly, goes in, laying up no good, and he'll have to earn him at the free throw line. That's another thing are we going to list the thing Glacier Peak does good, it does well, and excels at? Changing directions on the dribble.
And, that's something actually Brian Hunter talked about. He said this year's team's a little different in that we got more guys that can handle the ball. Well, Braden Corwin in the past has been their starting point guard. And he was a sophomore and a junior last year. He was that point guard, kind of that facilitator. Granted, he might have not been a natural one, but he did a fantastic job at it. Well, now you pretty much have Tucker Molina as your point guard, just the facilitator and really smooth dribble. Quantrill is the one that brought the ball up the court right there. I mean, they got a number of players that have the ability to handle the ball in the full court, start the offense, and make it go.
And Braden Corbin, of course, the all-league kicker for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies football team. 2:38 to go in the third quarter. The lead is 30 points. Here's Chisholm, puts it up, bounces once, twice, won't go. Quantrill grabs a rebound for the Grizzlies. Out of backcourt, here comes Glacier Peak. Quantrill coast to coast, and the lay-in is good. You don't have to pass it if they're just going to let you go in.
He kept looking for the pass, and, well, I'll just take it.
Corwin gets a block shot here. Here's Corwin going in, laying up, good! And another timeout. No, they're going to... The officials called a timeout. I think the two guys just whacked heads together. As Quantrill's kind of holding the back of his head.
Flournoy, they both gave each other 5. There was nothing malicious. That was just two guys... One zigged, one zagged, and ouch.
And the official wisely said, let's just make sure these guys don't walk off into the middle of traffic somewhere after they conked heads. So here we go. Efton Chisholm has it. The lead is 24 points. Chisholm in the corner, right-hand side, down underneath to Olsen laying up and good. Sam Olsen with a bucket.
I believe that's Olsen's first. Is that his first field goal of the game?
He's got 3 points in the game. Braden Corwin with it. Minute 46 to go in the third quarter. Corwin changes direction, trying to go around the defender. Thompson goes to the floor. Thompson gets a steal. Picks it off, takes it away, says thank you very much. Outlet pass up the floor to Chisholm. Reach through by Corwin, no call. Fadeaway jumper is good by Efton Chisholm. Got the steal and the bucket on the other end. Is 60-30. He's got 10 points in the ball game. Double score here. Minute 22 to go, third quarter. 60-30 lead for Glacier Peak. Braden Quantrill with it, left wing. in front of the Glacier Peak bench. Over to the right-hand side, Siebers shot on the way, no good. Bobby Siebers with a miss. Rebound controlled by Monroe. Bearcats with it. Now Chisholm at the top of the key. Drained a three from about that spot just a little while ago. Long cross-court pass near side goes to Gendron. Back out to Chisholm again. Goes around a screen, puts up a shot, and down it goes for another three for Efton Chisholm. He's got 13 points in the ballgame.
I think he heard you talk about that 40-point barrier, Tom, and he said, no, I don't want that to happen.
You bet.
Chisholm's really lit it up in the last 4 or 5 possessions here, really calling his own number.
Well, there's no motivation like being embarrassed, and you just don't want to have a running clock game. Here's a laying up and good by Tristan Bates goes in. Shot clock is dead. We're down to the final 21 seconds of the third quarter. Now Chisholm. They'll just wait for one shot as he backs out way by the center line and not really being guarded there. Down to 10 seconds to go. Chisholm still on the dribble out by the center line. Down to 7, down to 6 seconds to go. Now he starts the dribble, looks for a screen, goes right side, down low to Olsen. Turn, face, fire, won't go. And that will be that end of the third quarter. Our score, the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 62 and the Monroe Bearcats 33. Fourth and final quarter coming up next right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years. They are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools.
Monroe here in the half. Here's Corwin, elevates and puts
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years. They are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box store.
All-State Good Hands player of the game. We like the way that Quantrill's been playing.
Yeah, really, really like what he's done as a facilitator, as a passer, as a defender, rebounder. Oh, yeah, he scored 9 points in that last third quarter. I mean, what a night for him so far.
And he just grabbed that defensive rebound, but he had the ball stripped away, but it's going to be grabbed back by his teammate. Turnaround spin move, the lay-in good. Tristan Bates stole it back, got it, spun around 2 defenders and laid it up and in at 64-33, 31-point lead for Glacier Peak. Fadeaway jumper is going to be no good. An air ball there by Efton Chisholm. Quantrill on the outlet, up the floor. Dump it left side. Bates, 3, good. Boy, they move like a machine, and it's up and it's in. It's 67-33. Oh, there's a travel. There's a travel. Chisholm knew it as soon as he did it. He said,
Yep.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, and unfortunately, when you're out there in the middle of everyone and God, it's pretty easy and obvious to call.
Being okay is not okay right there. So.
Yeah, unfortunately.
67-33. And the Glacier Peak crowd yelling, "This is boring." No, it's not. I think it's been pretty good.
It's been fantastic.
33. Good high school. Nice crowd on hand, by the way, here on a Friday night. And there's Braden Corwin, elevates and fires a 3 and puts it up, and it's good. And it's a 37-point lead. Down low it goes to Olsen. Reverse lay-in, no good. Follow-up. Won't count anyway. Olsen got fouled on the way in. He'll go to the free throw line. And it's going to be on Bobby Siebers. Nice crowd on hand. That's a second personal foul on a Friday night. Foul. There's Braden Corwin. Justin Prone, the first-year head coach of the Monroe Bearcats. 12 years for Brian Hunter. Only coach that's been here at Glacier Peak High School. Lots of success. First free throw is good. And another coming in here.
You know, Tom, the first time these two teams played, it was a 67-51 victory for Glacier Peak. You really think that, and Brian Hunter has this ability that he's done this for years, we just talked about, but let's improve on what we did the first time through to the second time through. Wesco 40 played Brady twice, and they're really putting on a clinic right now of how they're trying to clamp down on Sam Olson, clamp down on Monroe, period, and really making sure that they exert their force and their will on them.
Fodge will check in. Olson will have a seat here with 6:47 to go in the fourth quarter. Overplay of the defense, and we're going to have a foul called. Too much of an overplay on the defense, and the foul's going to be called here.
Yeah, and this is a little bit one of those moments. We'll see what happens for Glacier Peak here, but this is one of those moments where, you want to make sure things stay all friendly competition and not kind of a little harsher and deep in this game.
Caleb Lee will bury a three in the right corner for Glacier Peak, and it's 73-35. Bounce pass underneath to Fodge, puts it up with the left hand. It's up and in. Blake Fodge with the bucket. He with the great mullet.
I love it.
I do. It's great. And the sideburns.
Yes. Oh, man.
Here's Braden Corwin on the dribble. At the right wing, they can afford to take some clock, down to 20 to shoot. 6:08 to go in the game. And I think we're going to start seeing some bench players coming in for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Remember, they play on Monday night against Mariner. Huge game. Here's a fadeaway jumper. In fact, fading away to the floor. And then a whistle. As it was Tristan Bates who put up a three. He went to the floor. No call there. The call was on the other side. I think Quantrill's going to the bench. Molina's back in.
I think Quantrill might have rolled an ankle. Just he took a tumble, a little spill there. It didn't look like it felt good, but he's pretty tough. He'll be just fine. Once he hears he's our player of the game, I'm sure he'll perk up just fine.
Oh, sure. Talking to Alex on the floor and getting a nice T-shirt.
My
you
gosh.
kidding me? How couldn't your day get better?
You don't feel a thing. There's no pain after that.
Bobby Siebers at the free throw line. The foul had been called there on.
And that foul was on Blake Fodge, number 25.
Fodge. Okay. All right. Fodge picked up the foul. Somebody wake up Buddy Patrick, our statistician. And so here comes another free throw. The first one was good. The lead is 37. The lead stays at 37. Next free throw, no good, but an offensive rebound grab by Glacier Peak. Molina has it out between the circles.
That offensive rebound there was by Colton St. John just checked into the game for the first time tonight. Senior getting some minutes here.
Ball was knocked out of bounds there by Chisholm, so it'll be still Glacier Peak basketball. 5:43 to go. Looking on the bounce pass as he gets it in. Goes to Siebers. Siebers gets it deep in the right-hand corner. Dribble drive along the baseline, up and in. No, they're going to say offensive foul. They're going to call the offensive foul. There'd be an argument there to count the bucket, but they're not going to.
No, they're not. I see the argument you're talking about, absolutely. But he had not come down yet. Therefore, you're going to call it for the charge. And since he took off, and it was the same motion, he took off, and you can't count the bucket. If he'd landed and then run into him and bowled him over, you could have. But since it was all one motion, unfortunately, but that ball had gone through. He hung long enough up there.
So you're saying if you're airborne, you have to have a place to land?
That's pretty much what most flights want to, Tom.
That's a BCC education
You're
right
welcome.
there for you.
You're
there you go. Bounce pass as they're going to dump it down low to Fodge. Puts it up off the glass too hard. Rebound grabbed down by Glacier Peak. Tyson Willis into the ball game. What you talking about, Willis, as he grabs the rebound? Had to do it. Willis gets it to the right wing. Deep in the corner. Siebers elevates. No, Lee elevates and puts it up. No good. Siebers grabs the rebound. Down underneath, laying up. Knocked to the floor, and he'll earn him at the free throw line. As Tyson Willis grabbed the rebound and then got knocked to the floor. He says, wait, they play rough at this level.
Ugh, what happened? He's got to shake himself off right there.
Well, you got Rybar, you got Fodge, you got Chisholm. These guys like to play physical. They like to play on the football field.
They're not afraid of contact, that's for sure.
No.
Pads or no pads, it doesn't matter.
As Chisholm will go to the bench, Jalen Flournoy back in. free throw here. First one no good by Willis. The next one is good, and it's 75-37.
And I'm wondering, Tom, if that's our last time seeing Chisholm, maybe seeing Olsen tonight. You know, Monroe's, they've taken a beating tonight. They have,
Yep.
at the hands of the second-best team in the state of Washington, at least by the RPI. Nothing for Monroe to hang their heads about. Again, they're building a culture, building a program still, but they still have more games to go against different opponents. They want to rest their guys a little bit if they can too.
Well, and what we talked about too is they're not out of it.
No, absolutely not.
6 teams go, and somebody's got to take that 6th spot.
And honestly, getting a little bit of rest for some of your stars that are going to play. I think that's the first time Chisholm's come out of the game all night.
Right.
Getting a little rest for some of these guys. For them to be playing next week, they might have a makeup game as well. I got to check that schedule.
No, they play Wednesday at Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And Friday, a week from tonight, they host Jackson.
Okay.
Then at Kamiak the following Tuesday, then host Lake Stevens, which will probably be a huge game.
Well, and you think, honestly, Mount Vernon, Kamiak, Lake Stevens are all 3 huge games when it comes to seeding. If you're going to be the 6th seed, if you can take down a Mount Vernon or Kamiak, you might even become a 5 seed. I mean,
right.
You move yourself up there. So in all honesty, this is kind of the point of the game. Sorry for the fans, but when there's a 38-point discrepancy, all starters for both teams need to be on the bench, getting some rest, not getting injured potentially, and just making sure they can cheer on their teammates and getting some other players some experience.
Because Glacier Peak now, as we mentioned, Monday night, a makeup game from last Wednesday because of the snow, hosting Mariner. That is a huge game. Number 2 against number 7. This would be on the mothership on ESPN if it was a college game. Number 2 against number 7. Huge. Gus Johnson would be on the call.
What?
With Bill Raftery. Not Tom Lafferty. Bill Raftery.
Oh, boy, you're making me excited when you start talking about Gus and Bill. But
what are you saying, Alex?
That'd be the Tuesday night Sonic blockbuster.
Oh, remember that?
On Monday, though.
Big Monday.
Hey, even better. Just throw them all on the same day. That's what kind of matchup it is.
And you know what, Tom? We talked about it be on the mothership. Well, we got STSPN. It's going to be on that.
There you go.
So be sure to tune in if you can't make it to the
now
gym.
That
to the
is the
cave.
mothership right there.
Get to STSPN on Monday night and watch that thing live.
4:09 to go as we've gotten most of the bench players now will take it the rest of the way here. And we're 1 point away from running clock as well. Here is a Flournoy going in, laying up no good, gets his own rebound, put back up, and it will not go. And the rebound's going to be grabbed down there by Bobby Siebers. And a chance down low as almost went out of bounds with it was Colton St. John. And he caught the ball before he went out of bounds. Got 2 feet down, though. We'll go to the NBC it out on top of the key. That's Tyson Willis. Right-hand side, Bob Siebers. Thank you very much. Siebers with it, out between the circles. 10 to shoot. Pass over the left side to Jackson Hawkins. Goes around a screen there. Hawkins on the dribble. Give it off to Siebers. Goes into the paint. Gets fouled. No good, and the foul's going to be
1 on the shot clock.
Yeah. Fodge just fouled out of the ball game. And he will have a seat. And free throw coming up here. Bobby Siebers got 2 free throws coming up here as we're in the double bonus, and he has a chance to put the game into running clock. He's got 10 points in the ball game. First free throw is good, and we're at 77-37, a 40-point lead. And you can't buy your way out, so this will be running clock then the rest of the way once the clock starts. Next free throw is good. You're going to bring in, and now Aaron Keller looks over at the scorekeeper, says, yeah, we're doing running clock here. So it will be. So the end of this game will come fairly quickly here on the running clock. Flournoy with it for Monroe. Look left, goes right. Nathan Kane into the ball game. He's got a nice head of hair as well. Kane with it, looking down low. Cross court it goes. To the top of the key now to McLean Thompson. His fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound taken down by Lynch. Up, no good. And he gets fouled on the way in. And it's going to be on Colton St. John. It's going to be his first team foul. 6th team foul. and Ryan Lynch at the free throw line. You do stop the running clock during free throws. First free throw good for Lynch.
Tom, is it free throws and timeouts? Is that correct?
Right.
Is that
That's
the only?
right. Yep.
The only times that clock will stop once 40 points is hit.
Yep.
Regardless of, like now, it's dropped below 40, but regardless, once you hit 40, it will continue to go.
Same as, it should not. The clock is running. Okay, so they are running the clock. Yeah, the ball went out of bounds. Yeah, it's same as in football. You can't buy your way out of it. Oh, look, now we're down by 39. No, sorry. you crossed the magic threshold. And they will call a foul here. And now we're going to have free throw. So now they're running the clock. So they're trying to. We need to give some lessons to the scoreboard operator. You do stop it. Yeah, they did eventually. After Aaron Keller gave him stop the clock. Caleb Lee at the free throw line. This game has been decided a long time ago.
And Tom, it's a little bit like what Alex was talking about earlier about. We mentioned about the deeper you go, the more players you can get in games, and yeah, this is it's a 40-point deficit right now for the Bearcats. But Glacier Peak seeing some players in this game who are juniors and seniors who have been around the program, done this for a while now, but they're getting those moments that these are those players that are going to maybe have a moment when you get down to state that you need to rely on them for a few possessions to give someone a break or to rest someone who's got some foul troubles. And this is where they can draw on some of those experiences to be ready to go for those moments.
Dribbling in, Flournoy goes in, laying up and good. It's 80-41 the score, minute 42 to go. Alex will be down there talking to our player of the game. We will be taking a break right after the game and then come back for that. Reminder, he's got to get his T-shirt to give as well. And so from Brian Reed, there's an outside three ball. Jackson Hawkins with the bucket. Jackson Hawkins with the bucket makes it 83-41 as we're just running out the running clock game here as the Glacier Peak Grizzlies have just about had their way the whole night. Here's a little runner that won't go for Nathan Kane. Battle for the rebound. Who's got it? It's going to be Flournoy. Goes down baseline. That was closed off there, and a foul is going to be called. They're going to call a foul underneath. They still have the clock running, and it's going to be 1-1. Clock still running. And
number 20, Tyson Willis, is second. 16th foul.
They just don't know. They just so
look, good thing Aaron Keller knows, our lead official tonight.
Right.
No, you stop it now. But now you start it. There you go.
There we go. So Glacier Peak will run out the clock here. 30 to shoot, about a 10-second differential to game clock, and this has been all but decided a long time ago. A 42-point lead for Glacier Peak. And they'll just pass it around. Caleb Lee with it on top of the key. As the ball's going to be knocked away. Here's a steal going in. Let's not have a Kansas State end there. They won't. It'll be a laying up and good. McLean Thompson down to 14 seconds to go. And this is going to end up being 83-43 the score. 83-43 is 4-3-2-1, and the game will expire, and we will be done with regulation time. And it's 83-43 the final score. We'll take a 1-minute break and come back with our player of the game right here on KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Our Mitsubishi electric cooling and heating system allows you to control the temperature in each room separately, all of which can be controlled from your smartphone or tablet. And because we are the mini split experts here in Washington, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Where the final score, Glacier Peak Grizzlies 83, Monroe Bearcats 43, and Alex Clausius is with our player of the game, Braden Quantrill.
Thanks, Tom. Yep, like you said before, here with Braden Quantrill, 16 points tonight for you. Big win out. You know, you're up by 40 points at one point. What was the message going in from Coach Hunter, and how'd you guys get this big win?
Well, last time we had a big lead going into halftime, and we kind of relaxed, and they were able to come back, and so it made the game a lot tougher. So we made sure we kept putting it on them and never take any breaks during the game.
Junior last year, played on a team that went down to the Tacoma Dome. Senior year, you're having a great time, great team, one of the best starts in recent memory. What's different from last year's team to this year's team? I asked the same thing to Coach Hunter, but I want to get a player's perspective.
Well, I feel like this year we have a lot more, playmakers. We have Caleb Lee. He comes on the bench, but he can easily start for a lot of teams. And you could see out there that he was a great playmaker. We got Braden Corn, Tucker Molina, and we're just a lot more versatile out there than last year's team. We're a little bit more bigger, so the game plan changed a little bit. We push it a little bit more than last year, and it was just a lot of fun.
Talk about Coach Hunter. You've been in the program for a while. How does he develop you as on the personal level and as a basketball player?
Oh, he's a great coach, and he's awesome, man. I love him as coach. He's been through this for a while. He's one of the best, I think, personally, and from a game standpoint, he pushes us every single day, all the way from JV to varsity. Everybody, just bring your all every single day and make everybody better.
Monday night against Mariner, 2 top 10 teams in the RPI. How excited are you to play in that game?
Very excited. We've been waiting for this. It got canceled. A little bit disappointed, but we're coming off a dub today, and we're very excited.
Last question for you. What player, this is a fun one, what player do you like to emulate your game after, whether it's college, NBA, retro, future, past, whatever? Who do you like to watch when you're not practicing or at a game?
That's tough. My favorite player has always been Russell Westbrook. Personally, I'm not as tall and not as athletic.
You got some bulk on you, my man. You got some bulk. You can do it a little bit.
Thank you. But yeah, that's who I've always idolized.
We saw 2 coast-to-coast plays today. You can be Westbrook just for today. How's that sound? We'll take it. Hey, Tom, back up to you or with our Brian Reed, good hands player of the game, Braden Quantrill from Glacier Peak.
Thank you very much, Braden, and thank you to Alex for that down on the field. Again, our Allstate Insurance Good Hands player of the game brought to you by Allstate Insurance agent Brian Reed. Brian Reed now with 2 locations in Everett. Stop by Brian's new location for a fee quote or just say hello at 2003 132nd Street Southeast in Everett. Sweatshirts are provided by